let's look at one more problem with solving equations. Again, the basic steps are to simplify each side of the equation. We do that using our orders of operations. The second step is to isolate the variable term to one side of the equation. We do that by adding and subtracting. Our third step is to solve for variables, or to solve for the variable, and we do that by using the multiplication or division property of equality. And then your fourth and final step would be to check. And you're looking to see, does your answer work in the given equation? Okay, so we're going to look at one that deals with a fraction. If you're looking at your worksheet, this is problem number 12. If not, this is just a good problem to look at. Okay, so working with step one. Step one is simply to isolate your variable term to one side. This is my variable term, and I can isolate this term by adding and subtracting to get v divided by 5 by itself. So I can do that. I'm going to add 1 to each side. Okay, so -1 plus 1, those cancel. So I'm left with v divided by 5 is equal to, and -1 plus 1 is 0. Okay, now I can look at this and see that I have v divided by 5. This is the same as 1/5 v equals 0. So my numerical coefficient here would be 1/5. Okay, so the numerical coefficient of v divided by 5 is 1/5. So if I want to do my inverse operation here, I'm going to multiply both sides of my equation by 5. And if you multiply both sides of your equation by 5, you get v equals 0. So, next, I would check. Check your work. So, you can substitute a 0 in here. You have 0 divided by 5 minus 1 equals -1, or a -1. So 0 divided by 5 is simply 0, because 0 divided by any number is 0. And if I subtract 1 from 0, I get that -1 equals -1. So my answer would be correct. Another way of doing this is to cancel out your denominators, to cancel the fractions. And in order to cancel the fractions, you have to multiply both sides of your equation by the same number. This is using the multiplication property of equality. So if I go back to my original problem of v divided by 5 minus 1 equals -1, if I want to cancel my fraction, I'm simply going to multiply both sides of my equation by my denominator. Now when I distribute, I have 5 times v divided by 5 minus 5 times 1, and this equals 5 times -1. Here I can see that my 5's are going to cancel because I'm going to end up with 5 divided by 5. So I have that v minus 5 equals a -5. Now if I add 5 to both sides, I get that v is equal to 0. So my solution is going to be the same if I clear my fractions or if I leave them and work with them. Okay, either way, I still get that v equals 0. Okay, so there are more than one way, or there is more than one way to solve a problem. As long as you're using mathematically sound justifications, you're going to end up with the same answer. Thank you very much.